established an ultra-high-speed telephone communication service for emergency notifications. This system allows us to communicate to all or targeted areas of the county in case of an emergency situation that requires immediate action, where rapid and accurate notification is essential for life safety. These notifications can be used for weather-related warnings, evacuation notices, missing persons, and other vital information. So the system is only as good as the database. So we encourage you to make sure that your phone number is included in the database so that you will be contacted. Now, we do plan on sending out some notifications, and so we'd like for you to, this system has been around for a while, so many of you may already have your number in code red, so there's no need to re-enter your number. But if you are not registered with code red, please do so. You can simply go to albanyga.gov and navigate to the About Us tab at the top of the page, city departments, and then under the fire department, you'll see it right on the web page there. The first page you get to, you will see the code red emergency notification system, and just follow the prompts. And if you do not have internet, we'd encourage you to call 229-431-3262. That's 431-3262. If you do not have access to internet. And what will happen, the person answering the call will then take your information and then load it into the code red system. So did want to make that notification today with you. As we do each day, we will begin our press conference by asking our mayor, Mayor Bo Duro, to come up for some opening remarks. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. One of the first things I want to address, I think we've been getting numerous calls, and the chairman can speak to this. Some people are advocating for curfew. We have, in conversations with the city manager this morning and Sheriff Spruill, both informed us that generally we've had compliance throughout the community, and therefore at this time we don't really see the need for a curfew. Most people, we are encouraged by this, are following the instructions to shelter in place. I do want to say I am somewhat at fault here. We've been talking about tests administered at Phoebe Putney, and I think some people assume that these tests are Daugherty County residents. Well, let me give you the figures as they were reported to us today. As of yesterday, from the hospital, public health, and two practices here in Albany, approximately 1,684 test samples had been collected. We only have 347 results. Now, there are 165 positive and 182 negative. I mentioned the other day there could be as many as 500 people positive in Daugherty County. What I meant is the Phoebe market. The information we got today is that while the majority of these 1,684 tests were performed on residents of Daugherty County, more than 20% of those tested are from Lee County, and approximately 10% of those are from Terrell County. So again, as we mentioned yesterday, this is an issue, a crisis that has to be dealt with not only by Albany and Daugherty County, but all our surrounding counties. One thing we're doing here, and it's only human nature, until somebody within our circle of acquaintance, worse yet, somebody that we love, a family member, dies from something like this, it really doesn't hit home. These 11 deaths and 7 more suspected deaths, to most of us, are just anonymous people. We don't know who they are. But please be assured, fortunately, I'm in fairly good health. My wife's in good health. We have 3 adult sons. They're all in good health. But one thing any of us could do, we could be carrying this virus right now. And if we come in contact with someone like my father, who's 86 years of age, we could actually be infecting that elderly person. And let me say, the statistics are this. It was on this, this Dr. Del Rayo, I mentioned him yesterday, the epidemiologist at Emory. He said that the vast majority of the people who are susceptible, who are going to have fatal, are over 70 years of age. We have a duty to protect those people. Just as at one point in time, hopefully, we'll be over 70 years of age, and we would expect the younger people to take precautions. And these are not great precautions, people. We are talking about staying 6 feet apart from people. Social distancing, I mentioned what they said in South Korea. It is apparently, the social distancing is apparently the most effective way to curb the spread of the virus. What we need to do to protect our health system is to reduce, avoid further infection. The people who already are infected are going to have to be treated. But what we have to do is take precautions today, immediately, to eliminate further unnecessary spread of the virus. Now, this is a problem we know we have in Albany and Dougherty County, but if we don't do something about it, and if our partners in surrounding counties don't do something about it, health systems throughout southwest Georgia are going to be overwhelmed just like Phoebe Putney, and that's why we have to take precautions. Thank you. I know you're tired of hearing us say the same thing, but we're saying the same thing because we know how to protect ourselves. You just have to take these precautions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to bring up for some comments the Chairman of the Dougherty County Commission, Mr. Christopher Cohelis.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mayor. Can't emphasize enough the words that the Mayor said. Again, everyone is to shelter in place. We have disseminated information for everyone's education so that they can understand what that means. That means that you are to stay at home unless you are engaged in approved activities or essential business activities. We have spent a lot of time making sure that we pared down what essential business activities are. If you have any questions or comments regarding that, please look at the online information that's available through the City of Albany, Dougherty County, the Dougherty County Emergency Management page. A lot of very clear information out there. Again, we ask everyone to practice social distancing. The Mayor hit that very well. I'm not going to rehash that. That is proven to be what we have to do in order to slow the spread of this virus. I want to give some updates on what we are doing here and where we are at in terms of our presence with the coronavirus in comparison to the rest of the state. We know that we have one of the highest rates of infection because of how this originally proliferated in our community. We have taken very swift and decisive action. I want to thank the governor for his partnership with us in making many resources that a lot of other communities don't have available to them available to us. We currently have a team from the CDC that is on the ground. They were part of our daily task force phone conference this morning. They are working with health professionals and other folks within the community to discuss additional measures that can be implemented in order to decrease the overall rate of infection. I want to say, make sure that's clear. Decrease, not stop. You can't stop the infection as it moves forward. What you can do is you can slow it. We know that we have a lot of people that were initially infected after it was first disseminated, after those events where it was introduced into our community, and we are having to respond as a collaborative team and as a task force. You heard yesterday that our resources at Phoebe Putney Memorial Hospital, which we're very thankful to have, their partnership in our task force, that they were becoming very stretched, and they were becoming very stretched thin. I made it very clear to the governor's office that we needed additional resources, we need additional staffing. The governor gave us a commitment yesterday that we would have additional staffing so that we can stand up Phoebe North, also the former Palmyra campus, so that we can treat additional patients. Again, I agree with Mayor Dura. This is not just a Dougherty County problem. This is a Southwest Georgia problem. We have seen from the statistics that we have given tests or administered tests to citizens from about 15 different cities and counties and even from some other states. While we have a large presence of it here in Dougherty County, we also have a large presence of it in Lee County and other surrounding counties and cities. those folks are going to be coming here to our health system, and we have to be able to flatten the curve so that our hospital is capable of meeting the needs of all of our Southwest Georgia citizens. Again, also remind citizens, if you see violations of the executive orders that were entered by Mayor Dura and myself, please call 229-431-2132, 229-431-2132. That's the non-emergency number for the city of Albany, so that those items can be reported. Please understand, we do respond to these matters. We have sent the police to various different businesses that were not in compliance. We have made sure that they were shut down so that they can be team players in this overall effort to make sure that we are providing the broadest blanket of protection that we can to our citizens during this very uncertain time. Yesterday, as I mentioned yesterday, we launched efforts to work with our surrounding cities and counties. We distributed information on what ordinances we have passed to them so that they can understand what we have been dealing with, and as they are beginning to absorb the infection rates into their own communities. And so we're working alongside all of our surrounding cities and counties as they begin to deal with this, and we make sure that we share information with them. As always, I want to say this. I recognize that this is a very hard time, and I agree with the mayor. A lot of times it's easy just to say, well, you know, there's 6 deaths or 7 deaths, and you don't know who those people are. These are moms, these are dads, these are brothers, these are cousins. The deaths range from a person that was 40 years old to a person that was 80 years old. This is very real. These are people that we live with, we work with, we pray with, we play with, and it's happening in our community. And we're not isolated, it's happening across the world. But really, taking the steps to wash your hands, making sure that you're cleaning up after yourself, making sure that you're keeping 6 feet distance from another person, that is the type of mindfulness that literally can save lives. Please do it, be vigilant, be disciplined, and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask to come up now. We have Dr. James Black with us. He is the chairman of the emergency department at Phoebe Putnam Memorial Hospital. Ask Dr. Black for some comments.
Good afternoon. As become our custom, I want to update you on the numbers across the health system. And again, as been alluded to before, this is not just Dougherty County, but the area in which we serve, but also the people that have accessed healthcare through our system. The number of positive results is 173. The number of negative results, 205. We have over 900 tests that are still pending. We have 12 deaths. Our drive-through continues to see a great number of people. And again, over the last 24 hours, 162 people. Hotline calls over 4,000. So again, just to make sure we understand the expectations, give the number 312-1919 a call. You will be asked a series of questions as a screening, and if deemed necessary, you'll be given instructions on how to access a test. We are still being very judicious about the amount of testing that we do for the general public, and if necessary, we certainly will give that testing. I also want to continue to stress, if you start having symptoms such as chest pain or shortness of breath, you should seek care at your doctor's office or at the emergency department. Thank you.
Thank you for that report, Dr. Black. Next, I'd like to bring up Dougherty County Coroner, Mr. Michael Fowler, for some remarks. Mr. Fowler.
Good evening. I'd like to bring you the stats on the death that we have in Dougherty County. As Dr. Black just mentioned, the count they give is the one that come from surrounding counties, and also in Dougherty County, that count was 12, you think it said. But the actual count of residents that died in Dougherty County is 6 now. We had 7. We found out that one of the person that was in Albany, but they really from another county based on the voter registration address. So they go to that particular county. But what we do have is 6 positive residents in Dougherty County that passed, and we also have 11 that we have tested, waiting on the test results to come back. At this time, the GBI is so overwhelmed in the scheme of things that's going on right now, so the load gonna have to come back to our local area. So we're gonna have to do more testing here, and that may put more of a strain on us, but we're gonna have to do that because they're overloaded now with the item, the people they are seeing for the regular. But the only way they'll see our cases if it's a homicide or suicide or baby or something of that nature. So they would not see cases just to test and see was it a positive or negative. So we're going to have to do our own screening. So we are working those details out. Again, thank you. We have 6 positive, 11 pending, a total of 17. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. I'd like to ask the President and CEO of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Barbara Rivera Holmes, to come for some remarks.
Good afternoon. Barbara Rivera Holmes, President and CEO of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce. I want to again thank our public health partners and our medical professionals for the incredible work that they are doing to fight something that has taken on in a very aggressive permeation throughout our communities. And I echo the mayor and the chairman in noting that this is not a situation that is bound within Albany and Dougherty County. This is something that is regional, and we must act regionally in order to get through it. I'm so proud that our elected officials convened our regional elected officials for alignment on strategy and alignment on solutions. The Albany Area Chamber of Commerce has done the same thing, pulling together more than 30 chambers of commerce and economic development organizations throughout this region so that we can take a dedicated, actionable regional approach to stemming the curve of COVID-19, to protecting life and to protecting our economies. The impact on life has been immediate. It's affecting social, it's affecting education, it's affecting our businesses. We've seen drops up to 90% in revenue and in daily foot traffic to our businesses. And we have one tool to correct this, and it is social distancing. If you're a business owner and you're following the ordinances, and I know so many of you are, and I thank you for taking those steps proactively, and I thank you for taking those steps immediately when our elected officials put very stringent orders in place to protect all of us. If you are out of compliance as a business, please get in compliance. If you're a citizen and you're not following the orders, please follow the orders. So many of our businesses have already made modifications, not just in the way that they conduct business, but in how and the products that they're producing. We have manufacturers that have shifted entire product lines to be able to create some of the PPEs that our medical professionals need to combat the virus. We have businesses that are donating all of any overages that they have of medical equipment that is needed to our medical professionals. The business community is a partner and is a leader in this effort. We ask all of our elected officials in the region to align because this is a regional situation and it will only increase in gravity if we do not take these actions. We are working with our congressional partners in aggressive support of COVID-19 federal aid appropriations bill that is before Congress out now. Those packages would include support for small businesses, for education, for our governmental partners, for numerous areas where we are being tasked and we're sort of at capacity. We're working with our state partners as well and already working with our regional partners on strategies for long-term recovery. But we are in an immediate situation for need and support. I want to thank again our elected officials for the strong and prudent action they've taken through this, the many partners that are involved in this effort, and continuing to flatten the curve, our efforts to flatten the curve of COVID-19 to minimize economic harm throughout the region. If you need more resources, I hope that you're visiting albanyga.com where we have information on the SBA disaster loan. We have information on the emergency unemployment rules from the Georgia Department of Labor. We will continue to push that information to you through albanyga.com if you're a chamber member, through a regular email e-blasts, and if you're a member of the public, to social media. Follow those resources. As more become available, we will continue to provide those to you. Again, we thank our business partners, we thank our elected officials, and we look for regional collaboration and leadership as we combat this together. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the chairman is here, the mayor is here, and of course, Ms. Holmes is still here for any comments or questions anyone may have today. Any questions? Okay. Before we end today, I will remind you again about how to watch the press conference. You can see it on Facebook Live at 1 p.m. Every day, both city and county pages, as well as being able to watch it on Channel 16, and we encourage you to use one of those mediums to view the press conference. Thank you very much, and have a great day.